for entertainment, humor, and meaning. Two brave best friends set out on an epic quest to combine their love of improv comedy, movies, and storytelling to create a show that defies the odds and redefines cinematic genius.
Dude, it's just a podcast where we use short-form improv games to tell long-form improv stories in the style of famous movies.
Right. You're listening to In a World of Improvised Movie Homages. I'm your co-host, Avish Parashar, and I'm an improv comedian and a professional speaker.
And I'm your co-host, Mike Worth, and I'm an improv comedian and professional film and video game composer.
We both love improv, movies, and storytelling, along with getting a little bit silly and ridiculous.
And hey, if you also like these things, then you are in the right place, because that's what this show is all about.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of In a World of. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Avish. I'm looking forward to some summer, and I'm looking forward to some awesome summer movies and some summer improv. How are you doing today?
I am doing the same. Yeah, school's wrapping up. We're going to the warm weather, and just overall in a good mood.
Yeah, baby.
So welcome everyone. Before we get into kind of the explanation, Mike, to kick things off, why don't you tell everyone what our genre is, our starting point is for today's show?
Yes, for today's show, we're actually doing a fun genre that I hadn't thought of, but it's really cool. It's going to be kind of a Taming of the Shrew Pygmalion style romantic comedy, a la Princess Diaries, or what's the other one that you were saying?
My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady, yeah, kind of like the whole swan emerging, the ugly duckling kind of thing.
And we'll get into more of that when we get into the show. So that is our genre starting point for today. So real quick, if you're listening to In a World of Improvised Movie Homages for the first time, here's how it works. Mike and I love improv, movies, and storytelling, so we combine them all into one show. We'll improvise a movie for you in audio form, obviously, but we'll tell the story by playing a series of improv comedy games. We'll start with a genre or example, in this case, Pygmalion, My Fair Lady, Princess Diaries. Then our show is broken into 4 segments. First, we'll spend 5 minutes or so discussing the tropes and commonalities of that genre.
Right.
Then we'll spend 5 minutes hashing out a high-level outline for the movie we are going to perform today. Then we'll spend about 5 minutes picking what improv games we are going to use to play each act of the movie. Finally, once that's all set, we will perform the show. So, before we get started, quick announcement. If you want more info about us, go to avishandmike.com. You can sign up for some free downloads, get some information, and share the podcast, because really that's one of the key ways this is going to help us grow.
Yes.
All right, and so here we go. Segment 1, discussing the tropes. All right, first we're going to spend 5 minutes talking about the typical tropes, cliches, commonalities that you find in this genre.
Right.
So I'm going to bring up my stopwatch with 5 minutes on it.
Yes, sir.
My timer with my duck timer quacking.
Of course.
All right, Mike, when you think of a movie like My Fair Lady, Pygmalion, Princess Diaries, what are some of the tropes that come to mind?
Oh boy, there's a couple ways to go. Let's start with some easy tropes. The first one is the main character. I just mentioned the ugly duckling. So it's the idea of a main character who is full of potential but unrealized potential, and he or she is usually portrayed as timid, personally insecure, kept down career-wise, etc., etc. So that's kind of the basic main character structure.
Low confidence, almost always female. I'm sure it's been flipped. Traditionally female. I'm sure there've been some where it's flipped and it's been male.
Yeah, we can do traditionally female. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. Usually one of two things happen. There is a person this low status female admires, and or there's some sort of event or award or prize that the low status person cherishes, right? So it's like that's kind of like that's the impulse for the film's plot, right? Either they want to work for the person or become that person, or there's some sort of contest they want to win or prize they want to get.
Yeah, so the some event or person. And then someone, sometimes that person you're talking about, sometimes someone else takes it upon themselves to transform, right? There's always like a project involved where someone's like taking this ugly duckling and turning them into a swan. It's not like a random transformation.
Right. That person, by the way, if you want to get all Carl Jung, is like usually going to be a mentor figure. Like that mentor figure basically takes on that hero and says, "I'm going to actually evolve and transform them." Right.
Yeah.
Now there's one twist on this, and that's kind of like the Devil Wears Prada, which is the mentor figure becomes the shadow mentor, and it turns out that the mentor actually, or Training Day, right, where like the mentor actually is a corrupting influence, and the main character actually grows to learn more about the figure and despise them. Right. That's one kind of twist you could do. I'm not saying we're going to go that way, but that's something to be aware of.
Right. But the conflict almost always comes at some point when they push too hard, or there's some, trying to change me too much, or, there's always that moment where like the main character, even amongst the transformation, realizes that they're losing that sense of who they really are and they need to kind of get back in touch with it.
Oh, yeah. There's this big, in Act 2, there's almost always this kind of duality break. Right, where what happens is that the person realizes that in order to become the transformation of what they perceive they want to be, they're losing the essence of who they are. And the other, the one that did that was Can't Buy Me Love, right? Where there's one with a male.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Hey, look at that. All right.
Which I barely remember that movie, but yeah.
Oh, it's Captain McDreamy, baby. It's a young Captain McDreamy, or whatever it is.
Yeah. So they realize they kind of have to. And it's not in a good way. Like, they had to cut ties with the old life, but then they realized, like, it's kind of like learning about that inner beauty bit, like, kind of melding those two worlds. And along those lines, there's almost always a close confidant or friend from the old who, like, know, loved, liked the person in their pre-transformative days, who kind of serves as that, like, reminder, catalyst for this person to realize, I don't need to change completely.
They're the conscience of the character. They portray totally. Now here's the third act usually is one of two ways. There's two ways it can go. If it's the person like admiring this kind of pedestal figure, the person both are kind of variations on a theme. The main character kind of decides to become themselves and maybe turn down an opportunity, but then they find a new opportunity that's more self-satisfying. It's like, I didn't want to work at that high Wall Street thing, but then they end up like being an accountant for like small businesses in like their neighborhood, and
it's like they're able to get the thing they've been after the whole movie, but then they realize that that's not the best thing for them, or there's something else.
Right. And the other one they do, and this is like the classic, right, is they go to whatever event it is, right? And they end up going as their old self, but armed with the best parts of their transformation, and then win that thing on their own terms, And
so instead of becoming like fake, they find that nice balance between all the positives of the new person, all the positives of the old person, and they still go in and win or whatever.
Now a great example of that is Crossroads. It's kind of funny, but you think about it. It's like Ralph Macchio walks in after having learned all this blues, right? And he goes up against the Devil's guitarist, Steve Vai, and Ralph has the swagger of the blues that he keeps up with. And then at the end, he channels all of his old classical and plays the Bach piece in blues guitar style and beats the band. So that's an example of like...
I am not embarrassed to admit that I don't believe I have seen Crossroads.
It's a surprisingly good film. It is a surprise.
And the final thing with the end, I would say, is that, or the overall, and that's our duck timer.
Okay.
We'll take is that the other thing that sometimes happens in these movies is, and we can decide whether it's a whole different genre or whether this is part of this genre, where the transformation is often based on a bet or a humiliation, like Trading Places, or the Freddie Prinze, Rachel Lee Cook movie.
Yeah.
She's all that, where it's like, but then the person realizes that they do love, so that's a whole other thing that could potentially be.
That's the driving force towards the mentor getting involved. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. So that was the genre tropes. We got lots of good ideas.
Yeah, I was surprised because I was sitting here like, man, I'm not very familiar with this genre, but once you start to think about it, there's a lot of one-offs that you can work with.
All right, now, segment 2, creating the outline. Next up, we'll spend 5 minutes creating a rough high-level outline for the movie. When we actually get into performing the show, we may deviate from that, because it's improv. They go in lots of different directions, but this is going to be our rough outline, at least at start, that we will follow. So 5 minutes, let's do our outline. All right, prologue or movie trailer? I feel probably movie trailer, right? I feel like a prologue is not all that useful here.
Yeah. But I'm in the prep talk, so let's do it. So let's do it. We'll do a prologue.
No, a movie trailer.
A movie trailer. That's what I meant. Yep, you're right. I was wrong. No, Mike, movie trailer. Act 1, Act 2, or Block 2, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Act 3. Act
so we go the 4-act structure, which is basically your 3-act structure. It just splits Act 2 into 2 parts because one's reactive, the second half's proactive.
Right. And it allows us to drill down and have the games be a little more tight in scope and not be like a game that has to deal with an entire middle section of the movie, which is pretty bloated. All right, so movie trailer, yep, that's all good. And then Act 1. What's going to happen in Act 1?
So we have to meet, obviously, the main person. You have to kind of see him or her in her ordinary world where I'm going to just use the word she because that's most likely what it's going to be, where she is kind of mousy and overlooked. And maybe we will learn about the object of her desire, whether it's a person she wants to be with or an event like being crowned the Harvest Queen or whatever.
Yeah. Midsummer Queen.
Midsummer Queen. Well, that took a quick turn.
Learn about the object of her desire. Or
we should meet that person. We should meet I guess the mentor could come in Act 1 or could be introduced right at the beginning of Act 2, but that's basically at the end of Act 1, she's going to be taken on as the project, right? That's like the thing is.
Yeah. She decides, and she will actively decide to do it, to be taken on as Ugly Duckling Project.
Yeah. And we should also meet the friend, like the old world friend.
Yep, I said that. Meet the close confidant,
there you go.
Mentor, and describe impetus for making the change. If there is a villainette or a villainess, a la Devil Wears Prada, you will meet this person there.
The villain is often either the mentor kind of becomes a shadow mentor, like you said, or the person competing, like if they're trying to get a job or win the prom, or it's like the person who's like the favorite to win that, like the already hot person, or already successful person.
Yeah, exactly, or the rival. Cool. End of Act 1, she decides.
Yeah, the rival's the best word for it.
Yeah. End of Act 1, she decides to be taken on as Ugly Duckling Project. So Act 2 is of course, well, it's
the transformation.
Yep, there's transformation, and of course, there's going to be at some point a montage.
The like trying on dresses montage type thing, the transformation montage.
Yep. If and again, the Ugly Duckling can also be like a combat one, where you're training the warrior and you see him right.
Yeah, and I think in Act 2, usually there's resistance, right? It's like the duckling is agreeing to do this, but is kind of constantly resisting the mentor's advice and instruction.
Yeah, lots of failure on the part of the duckling. And funny failure, like Mr. Bean style stuff,
Yeah.
At this point, also, the beginnings of the rift between Old World and New World, beginnings of rift.
The rift, yeah.
That will usually happen after the duckling starts to see some success, because they start to like their change, and then between...
Right, which could happen in Act 3, because in Act 2, they're still kind of holding on to the Old World, but in Act 3, when they more embrace the New World, is when they'll be like starting to see the rift.
Got it. I'm going to move to Act 3. Got it. Good call.
Old and new.
Good.
And there should be potentially some interaction with the rival or villain here, where they're like, the rival is still in a high status position right now, so they're almost mocking the person's attempts at growth.
Yeah.
So the rival's still kind of high status to this.
Yeah, cool.
Which then brings us to Act 3, which is the second half of the middle block.
Yep. And
so this, I think, is where they more accept the change, but then this leads to a rift, like you said, with the Old World, and it leads to the rival becoming less superior and then maybe getting more like aggressive, because the rival realizes, it's not just a joke, like this person actually is getting more popular than me or could actually beat me, so maybe they get more like proactive in terms of trying to sabotage.
Yes, and that's usually, if we want to get really specific, that's usually when the mentor exits the scene. Now, what I mean by that is either he is bribed or cajoled by the rival to leave, or she ends up disagreeing with the position that he puts her in, and she ends up leaving. They
have a falling out.
Have a falling out, right?
And often the Act 3 ends with the heroine giving up. Like,
yep.
All right, that's 5 minutes, but we got to finish up.
Yeah.
So they give up. Yeah, usually they give up. They either drop out of the competition, or they say, I'm not going to do it, or I don't care about that anymore. Yep. They kind of resign themselves to not trying anymore.
So in Act 4, it's pretty easy. In Act 4, the mentor has a redemption return, right? That happens. He comes through and he's like, no, or she's like, you know what? I realized that was awful. I want to make this right. Usually the confidant usually, go with
I was about to say the exact same thing. The confidant, the old world friend kind of comes back and gives him like, the come to Jesus talk.
Yeah, it gives the
The straight talk, like, listen.
Yeah, you're a better person for having done all this stuff. Now go out there and then of course the protagonist, aided by the mentor and accompanied by the confidant, goes and like wastes the rival in like in a big comeuppance,
Yep, and then that's basically So these often have a romance, but doesn't have to. And the mentor could be the romantic interest, or the romantic interest could be the object of desire. It could just be someone else.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, awesome. So I think that is a pretty good outline for a Pygmalion style movie.
Yeah.
Which brings us to segment 3, choosing the games. Now we'll spend a few minutes deciding for each of the acts, the movie trailer and the 4 acts we have established. We will pick one improv game that we will use to tell that section of the story. So here we go. All right, so jumping to the end, we have been ending with Cutting Room. Do you want to end with that one again, or do you want to do a different one to end this story?
I like Cutting Room. If anything really jumps out at you that is like a great one to end, then we could grab it. Otherwise, you and I love Cutting Room. We're good at it.
Yeah, let's just stick with that. That's been working well. It's a good way to finish. All right, movie trailer is just going to be its own game. There's no extra thing to that, right?
Yeah, we're going to play movie trailer for movie trailer, right?
Yeah, basically. All right, so that leaves us with 3 more improv games we need. At least we could potentially...
We need a scene and acting one. Okay.
All right, so I think... all right, Act 1 is where we kind of meet everyone. We establish everything. So...
can I skip ahead for a sec? I've got the best one for Act 2, because that's going to be the transformation. We should do Ding for Act 2.
Okay.
That'll be so much fun with the transformation scene.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. I'm sorry. I just was going through it. I was like, that's.
Well, I'm thinking we could almost break that into 2 mini games. So Ding just for like the transformation montage.
Yes.
And then another game that's more about the resisting the change and the rival making fun of them with spear status and old.
Yeah. So we'll maybe do 2.
We'll come to that one, another short one. Okay, so what should be our foundational game then? So Ding's a storytelling game.
Act 1, huh?
Act 1. Let's see. So we need to meet
blind offers.
That could be interesting.
That could be kind of cool, actually.
As a story or as a scene? Or as scenes?
Your call. What do you think?
I feel like blind offers would work better as a story.
Okay, let's go story then.
Oh, I've got it. Wait, I got a good one for...
All right, do it.
We've done this one before, but I think I have a good one for Act 1. We could do... we could tell the story of Act 1 Rashomon style.
Ooh.
Or act it out Rashomon style, so that way you can see it from the perspective of the ugly duckling, the mentor, and maybe the rival.
I like that. Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Okay, so Rashomon for Act 1.
I can already see how silly this is going to be. All right, good. All right, so let's get to Act 3, at least get something down there.
Oh, well, we need the second half of Act 2. So we're going to do Ding just for the montage transformation.
Yeah, that's going to be so good.
So then, for that we could do blind offer.
Sure.
If you want to do that.
Yeah.
Although, is that scene enough? I feel like we have a lot of stories. Because I think Rashomon will be at least some storytelling. Maybe jumping in and out of storytelling and scene work.
Yeah.
Ding is going to be...
Ding is scene, right?
Oh, Ding will be a scene. Oh, we'll do Ding as a scene. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Ding makes sense. Okay, yeah, so we can do blind offers as the second half of Act 2.
Yeah.
All right, now Act 3... This is the sabotage, the mentor leaves, there's a falling out. I think this would be a good one for one of the emotional ones, either emotional switching or emotional replay.
Yeah, I was thinking something with emotion. The only other one I was thinking was last word, first word, but definitely something scene-based and something with some emotions, definitely.
Let's do emotional switch. Let's do where...
Yeah, I like that one. By the way, random aside, something we learned from our last couple of these, remember that we reserve the right to, if we need to hop out and be the narrator, to be able to kind of like advance to a new location or something, we get to do that and not have the rules apply. Like we don't have to like sobbing. Well, maybe you could, but like, in terms of like, if we need to pop out and be the narrator, we don't have to stay within the game, or we could, kind of.
We could, but yeah, we're able to sometimes play narrator role as opposed to like host of the improv scene versus thing. So yeah, we jump around, and sometimes when we get into it, you'll see that we will, sometimes we'll both play the same character, just depending where the scene goes. So
depending on who has to be what. Yeah.
Yeah. So
all
right. So I think we have our games, which is shockingly the fastest I think we've ever picked our improv games. We still have a minute left on the timer. We've already got.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for this. I'm a little.
All right. So then there's just one final thing to do before we get into performing the show.
Yes.
We need a title.
Right.
So should we do it one word at a time again? I kind of like that. That kind of works pretty well.
Yeah. Is that one word at a time?
All right, so we are going to do an improv exercise called One Word at a Time, where Mike and I will build a title of this story, each of us contributing one word at a time, and it'll probably be somewhere between 3 to 7 words max.
Yeah. So the title...
I did first last time. Why don't you do the first word this time?
Okay. All right, so the genre of this is the Pygmalion Ugly Duckling style rom-com coming of age. One word at a time. Here we go. Run
away
with
flower.
And by the way, flower could be with a W.
That's
or
true.
an OU. We're not going to tell you guys because I've already got an idea.
All right. Run away with.
What is it going to be? Are you going to do OU or are you going to do W? The story will tell us. Yes. Yeah, I'm trying not to predict, but I've already got an idea. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, then. You can kind of take on the start of the movie trailer then.
All right. Cool.
All right. So, hey, if you guys are enjoying what we've been doing so far, be sure to go over to iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review, which would be amazing. If that's too much to ask, a 5-star rating always helps other people find us. And if you could on your social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you live, go ahead and share the link to this episode or our podcast. It really helps our audience find us and helps this show grow. Back to the show. Segment 4, Showtime. All right, so now, first we will begin. We either always begin with a prologue scene or a movie trailer. For this, we will start with the movie trailer. So now we present to you the trailer for the movie Run with Flower.
Oh, so cute. All right, so Avish, why don't you describe what the movie trailer game is, or are we just going to jump right in?
Oh, so we're just going to do an improvised movie trailer. There's really no rules. We'll just jump around. It'll be like a 1 to 2 minute long scene or clip show type thing, like a typical movie trailer.
Got it.
And here we go. In a world where some people have it all and others struggle.
Oh, look at that huge car. That person's so wealthy.
Where one class of people seems to do and get anything they want, while the others look on longingly.
How come I don't get to have leavened bread? How come I don't get to have crackers?
One young girl, or one old girl, soon to be a young woman, will defy the odds and take on the establishment and become more than she is.
What's this strange bag that I found? I don't know what to do with that. I'll be able to help you with that, little girl. What? Who are you, tall, strange, and strangely handsome man? Someone who's going to change your life forever.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Running... What the hell's the title?
Running Away with Flower.
Running Away with Flower.
Oh.
A Pygmalion tale of a young girl, a bag of flour, and a mysterious mentor who seeks to help her. And scene.
That got naughty real fast.
So there's our movie trailer for Running Away with Flower. So now we will begin with Act 1 of Running Away with Flower. Act 1, we will be playing an improv game called Rashomon, where this will be, it's in the style of the Kurosawa movie, where what happens is you see the same story redone 3 or multiple times, one from the perspective of one character, another from the perspective of a second character, and finally from the perspective of a third character. We're going to do that. We're going to improvise our scene, and we're going to do it from the perspective of definitely from our main character, from the character of our mentor, and probably one other person who will reserve the right to decide who that will be when we get to it. This will be a combination of story. We'll probably jump in and out of telling it as a story and acting out bits of the scene. Are you ready, Mike?
I am ready. Let's do this.
And here we go.
The
Hey, Judy! Judy, hey, you know, the barf bag called. It's empty. Why don't you go and fill it up, you ugly hoe? I mean, ugly girl.
Hey, Roger, you knock it off, all right? Judy, don't you listen to that dumb idiot. He's just mad because his parents are separated and don't have the actual loving household like you do, Judy. Ugh, Roger, why don't you go play in traffic?
Hey, Sheila, what's going on? You know, you seem to defend Judy so much she can't speak for herself. If you like her so much, why don't you marry her?
Ha ha, real funny, huh? You think that's so cute? You just see one day, me and Judy, we're going to be going places. And you're going to be stuck back here in this little dump eating moldy loaves of leftover bread that the upper side is dropping off at us.
Hey, don't you talk about moldy bread. You know my family. We make the best bread in all this city. I'm never going to get moldy bread. And you know what? Finally, when the youth bake-off happens and I get to win that award, you will shut your mouth about the one time there was some mold in the bread 3 years ago, my family's biggest shame. We're going to win that competition. We're going to own the bread market in this whole city.
Judy looks up softly and mousily whispers to Sheila, "Come on, let's go. We don't have time for this." You're lucky. You're lucky Judy needs me to go, Raja. Let me tell you that.
All right. And that was our first scene of Rashomon. Was that straightforward, or is that from one of the perspectives? I kind of forgot there.
I think that's kind of neutral God view,
That's our neutral scene. That's the first scene. We got 3 characters. We're going to see it from 3 perspectives.
All right, ready? We're going to do it from the perspective of Judy now, okay?
Okay, from the perspective of
I
Judy.
reserve the right to maybe take over Roger for a sec. All right. The sun rises up on this New York-style city with Judy and Sheila walking down the street and Roger coming and approaching them. All right?
Ready? Judy! 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 If you don't shut up and go away, I will kill you.
Please don't hurt us, Roger.
Shut up!
Please
I did not tell you to
hurt us.
talk, Judy. My family has been planning to bake you into our bread for a long time, Judy.
You can dimly feel Sheila's voice.
A beacon of light shines down over Sheila, who stands majestically in between Roger and Judy.
Like Gandalf standing against the Balrog with light, you know? Roger, stop with the insanity. Stop with the moldy bread.
Oh, if it wasn't for you, Sheila, I would be eating that child right now.
Judy and I are on to bigger, brighter, and more wondrous places than you could ever imagine. Stand back, foul being. Come, Judy. Come with me if you want to live.
You can run now, but just realize that when my family and I win the teen bake-off competition, that there will be no bread for you anywhere. I will control the bread market, and you will starve to death, finally.
Judy whimpers, I want to go home. I want to go home. Scene. I was hoping. I was like, yes.
I figured.
All
All
right,
right,
dude.
All right, so that was done
from.
from Judy's perspective.
Yes.
Now, shall we do it from Sheila's perspective?
Yes, let's do that.
All right.
Sheila's perspective.
Second
okay?
scene done from the perspective of the best friend, Sheila.
Yep. The sun rises up over a crowded New York City. Sheila and Judy are walking down the street. Roger's approaching them.
Hey, Sheila, you know, you seem pretty cool here. Why are you hanging out with this loser? I don't understand what's going on. Like, you should ditch her and kind of come on with the popular kids.
Well, that's so kind of you to think so. I would love to, but in fact, I've got a calling. I've got to be here for my friend Judy. It's my lot. It's my calling in life to be that supportive person. But thank you for thinking of me. I have a mission.
Damn it, Sheila. I'm telling you, I admire that, but listen, I have to put up this front of attacking your friend to protect my own insecurities. I'm sure you could understand that, and maybe if we were away from here, that I could connect with you more openly. But for right now, I just have to tell Judy how much I can't stand her.
I understand that, and believe me, I feel the same way. I mean, if I can see there's some sort of attraction and chemistry between us, and I don't know how to solve that because at the same time I have this obligation for her. Maybe
Sheila, can you help me?
Of course, Judy. Let's go on and go try and find those ways out of this city area. Maybe Roger, maybe when we meet again at the great baking competition, hopefully there won't be any of that moldy bread, and maybe we can figure out the next steps. But right now, it's important for Judy to get moving on to her next stage in life.
Maybe, but you should know that I don't like rejection, and once I win that competition, I may be too good for you.
Oh, don't write me out like that. We're going to have to win that competition, Judy, just so I can't get written out of Roger's life. Oh, this has suddenly become complex.
That's it.
Don't know who the mentor is yet, but we've got we got a strong trio, though, dude.
We got three of our four main characters, at least. All right.
Yeah.
Last scene. We'll do it one final time from the perspective of Roger.
Oh, yeah. Right. Sun rises up over a crowded New York City. Sheila and Judy are walking, and Roger approaches them.
Oh, my God. I just trying to walk to school. Will you two annoying people please get out of my way? Oh my God.
Don't you touch her! You filthy, disgusting creature. Can't you see she's shy?
I would rather touch a bag of vomit than her.
You calling her vomit? You're such a disgusting, horrible man boy. What a horrible person you are.
Listen, you shrew. This is not my fault, okay? I'm just trying to live my life my own way. And you people, you can't let go of the fact that one day, 3 years ago, there was a tiny bit of mold in one of my family's breads, and it tarnished the town. All I'm trying to do is redeem my family and provide for the future of the Roger Darius line.
That bit of moldy bread cost me my left kidney. I will never forgive you for that. And you know what? I've got a special place I'm taking Judy right now to make sure that when that competition comes, she is going to win that and get us both out of here forever. And we'll never have to look at your awful, mean, ugly mug ever again.
Oh my God, why don't these people understand that to them, baking bread is just a passing hobby, a competition for them to win. But for me, it's life. It's the most important thing. It's the only way I can get the approval of my family and my parents who never express any love to me at all.
Scene. What a sympathetic bad guy.
In his own mind.
Yeah, exactly. In Rashomon style.
All right, so that is our Act 1 Rashomon scene. We have not yet met the mentor.
Right.
But we are about to. Because we're moving into Act 2. And Act 2 will be now the meeting of the mentor along with the transformative montage where the mentor takes Judy through a series of experiments, changes, whatever, and we'll see how it happens. To do this, we're going to play an improv game called Ding, where we're going to do this, again, half story, half scene work. Either one of us at any point can say ding to the other, which is going to force that person to stop, go back, repeat what they said, the last kind of sentence, but change it. So if it was, once upon a time, there was a girl who had a pet dog, ding. Once upon a time, a girl who had a pet cat, ding. Pet mouse, ding. Pet rabbi, like whatever.
Yep.
It just changes. And then the story continues, the scene continues, but only as if that last thing was said. All right. So, are you ready to play Ding for the beginning of Act 2?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Come on this way, Judy. Judy, I'm telling you, this guy, he's going to be able to change everything for the better about you. I'm telling you.
Yes?
Dr. Williams, this is the person I was telling you about, Judy. She may not look like much, but I think you can help her when she gets ready for this great baking off.
Oh, you are right, Judy. Judy it is?
Yes, that's my name.
You do not look like much. I've had some projects in my day, but let me ask you one question before we begin this journey together.
Yes.
What is the difference between all-purpose flour and bread flour?
Well, all-purpose flour is, it's white,
and general.
Damn it! You bring me less than amateurs. You bring me a baby. How can I do this? Damn it! Don't you know it's so simple? Have you never studied baking? Do you not care about your craft? Are you just a...
Ding!
Yes, thank you. You are like a sponge. All these people come here claiming all-purpose flour does this and bread flour does that. It's the same damn flour. I've worked in the industry for years. But you didn't know anything. You are trainable.
Ding!
You didn't know anything, which means you can't expose my ignorance.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. So when do we start?
Ding.
When can I get some sleep?
Ding.
When can I find out what my nutritional needs are? I'm suffering from scurvy.
Damn it, girl. If you're going to train here with me, you'll eat one thing. Flour. You can eat it in its form of bread. You can eat it as matzah. You can eat it as patza. But only flour.
Okay. I'll get started right on that. Dr. Williams, I'm going to go back to school. I guess I'll leave you two.
Ding.
I'm going to go back to my parole officer right now. I'll see you when I get back from that meeting.
All right.
Bye, Sheila.
Goodbye, you. All right. Let's get started. Jump ahead in the scene to inside a big kitchen with 6 different bins of flour and baking pans and everything everywhere.
Right.
All right. Show me how you typically knead bread.
Oh, okay. Judy walks over and scoops up a handful of flour, plunks it down, walks over to the sink, grabs a cup of water in her hands and splashes it all over the place, and then
No, not with your hands. Try it again with a cup.
Ding.
Not with your hands. Try it again with your mouth. Put the water in your mouth.
Ding.
No, not with your hands. With your bladder. Drink the water and then pee it out into the bread. That's how you get your soul and your essence into the bread.
Oh, okay. She walks over and throws up a curtain, and you hear some sounds, and a couple minutes later, there's the bread. She's kneading it, looking very uncomfortable. I think this is what you wanted me to do.
Ding.
I think this makes me feel very, very uncomfortable.
Ding.
I think this is going to be one of the reasons why I win this contest, because I'm thinking really outside the box.
Yes, way outside the box. The box never wins, damn it. The box never wins.
Ding.
No, inside the box. You must think inside the bread box, not outside the box.
Oh, the bread box. Right. I see there's a big one over here. She walks in and starts kneading the dough while she's sitting inside the bread box. Oh, this is starting to feel
No. You can't knead inside the bread box without the lid.
Ding.
You can't knead inside the bread box without flour. We need to cover you with flour so you become one with the flour.
Oh, okay. I'll just go and get some more flour. She runs over and starts dumping flour over her head while sitting in the bread box kneading the bread.
Ding.
She starts dumping over all the flour and starts sneezing uncontrollably. All of a sudden, the poofs of flour from her nose start coming out and settling into little round bakery breads.
My goodness, you just sneezed into perfect shapes. I didn't know it was possible. There have been rumors of a chosen bread one.
Ding.
There have been rumors of some kind of bread freak, that their very sneezes would be the essence of bread and make dough.
Oh.
Could it be you?
I guess maybe it could. I'm not aware of ever having done this before, but...
Tell me, what exactly were you thinking right before you sneezed?
Right before I sneezed, I was thinking about how lovely a color of white it was, and I've never seen flour
Ding.
that white. I was thinking about just how good I felt having an empty bladder.
Ding.
I was just thinking about how important it is to have the right pairs of shoes when you're kneading bread. And my
Ding.
shoes, I was thinking about how wonderful it is to have you as a mentor, knowing that you're only 4'9", and I can look down on you while simultaneously looking up at you.
Damn it. Never talk about my height. That's the whole reason I went into bread. Bread is the great equalizer, damn it. It doesn't matter how tall I am. It matters how good I can bake my bread.
I'm so sorry. So, what should we do next then?
Next, it is time for you to go out in public and bake your first loaf of bread.
Oh, I'm very scared, but okay.
And seed. All right, so that brings us to the end of our training or our transitioning montage where Judy is learning how to become a baker from the great Dr. Williams.
Yes.
But now, Williams has said her next step is she must bake in public. So to act out this part, which will be the second half of Act 2, we will play the improv game Blind Offer.
Yes.
Where one of us, either in the scene or as we're telling it as a story, the other person can throw out to them a totally random blind offer. So, for example, if Mike was doing something talking about Judy baking the bread, I could say something like, "Oh, but what about the mouse?" And he would have to immediately incorporate that, justify it, And we can go back and forth, each of us throwing offers to each other of that style.
Yes. Now, for blind offer, traditionally we will have our audience submit ones. Do you have one online right now, or do we just kind of improvise?
So you're thinking blind line, which is where we have the written cards. Oh, you want to do blind line instead of blind offer?
No, I'm happy with blind offer. I love them both. I'm glad I now understand the difference. So blind offer is we have free reign to say whatever we want, but it has to be.
Yeah, it's kind of like a what happens next without the clapping and stopping. You're just throwing something random out to the person.
Your pick. You want to do blind line or blind offer? I'm cool with either.
Let's just do blind offer. I don't get the cards out right now, so.
Yeah, it's good. We'll go with that. So we can cut that a little bit out because whatever, it doesn't matter. All right, cool. So at any point in time, any of us could just create a blind offer, either in character or as the narrator.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so we pick things up doing some kind of baking in public.
Yes. Dr. Williams and Judy are walking outside their bread store where a small crowd is gathered because Dr. Williams has a small little display table with assorted bakery accoutrements and a small oven, etc., etc.
All right, now, Judy, you have to show me what you can do. You have a true brilliant baker inside of you. You just have to tap into it.
Okay. I've never done this in front of anybody. This has always been in the privacy of my own kitchen.
Hey, everybody, look, Snooty Judy's going to bake some bread.
Oh, I'm really unsure about this, Dr. Williams. I'm really unsure about this.
Just ignore him. That Roger boy, I've known him for a long time. I've known his family. Block them out. He's a jerk. Just focus on the bread. You can do it.
Okay. Today, I'd like to show you my special pumpernickel loaf that I like to make. As you can see, I've got some small rye seeds here.
What about the cabbage on the baking table?
And I'm grabbing some cabbage because nobody understands this as she plumps the cabbage into the boiling water. Cabbage does two things for rye bread.
Cabbage? Judy, did you just put cabbage? You can use cabbage in your bread? I don't even have to enter this competition. I'm going to win.
You don't understand. The cabbage is an important nutritional element in rye bread, and it brings out two things, the softness of the bread, and it makes it more attractive to woodland creatures. As you can see, squirrels are already starting to come over and frolic on my arm like a small Disney princess.
What about the one squirrel that had a little saddle on its back?
Oh, no! Did Whiskers the mouse not make it? Dr. Williams, I can't go on without Whiskers the mouse showing up. He's my spirit animal. You've got to send someone out with my little squirrel with the saddle.
Damn it, Judy. You don't need a mouse spirit animal. Mice are the bane of the baker's existence. Listen to me. I will be your spirit animal from now on. You must let go of your old life. You must believe in me. If you wish to become the best baker in this town, you must let go of that past. You must let go of it all and embrace me as your spirit animal.
Okay. As he says this, she suddenly notices a small tattoo on his neck of 14 emeralds with a giant Mickey Mouse face in the center of it.
Do you see this? Do you see this tattoo? 14 emeralds with a mouse in the middle. Do you know what those stand for?
No, I don't actually.
14 Pygmalion bakers I have taken. 14 people just like you with no skill. And for every single one of them, I became their spirit animal. I became their mouse, damn it. I have room for a 15th tattoo. But do you have room in your heart to embrace what you need to take that place?
I do. You will be my emerald mouse. You will be my emerald mouse. She turns and shoots Roger a glare and starts kneading the bread, pulling out the now sopping wet cabbage, slicing it up and folding it into the pumpernickel flour and the rye seeds. As you can see, as this bread, a waft of foul odors flies up. It smells now, but once you put it in the oven and softens up.
That smells horrible. Oh my God, I gotta get out of here.
No, don't go, please. Oh, no, you have to stay and see. I don't think it's working, Dr. Williams. People are leaving because of the smell.
People are leaving. Only those who are not pure of heart are leaving. You must continue through the end. This is where the weak bakers give up. If you must continue with this smell.
What about the small tricycle that's being aimlessly wheeled in front of the doctor as he's talking?
Do you remember the movie Saw?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
know that
the
movie.
Jigsaw Killer would ride in on a tricycle. This is the exact tricycle he would come in. Do you remember the premise of that movie? Was people needed to do beyond their limits things to survive. That is what I am asking you to do, Judy.
Yes.
Lean into the smell.
Yes, I will.
Oh my God, Judy, what are you doing out here? I'm sorry to introduce you to Dr. Williams. This seems like a bad idea. It seems like he's making you a worse baker.
Oh, Sheila, no, don't you understand? As she gets on the tricycle, Dr. Williams is opening me up to brand new things. He's my emerald mouse. He's making me understand that doing things that are off the beaten path, that are different, maybe even offensive, can actually be how I can open up as a person. And you...
What about the big explosion that comes out of the bread baking?
Oh, good, the bread is ready.
Oh, yes, the cabbage reacted with the yeast, I see.
Yes.
Very well done. That most people don't do that properly on the first try.
She walks over and pulls out this steaming chunks of like really foul-smelling bread. This is different than any other bread I've ever made, and different wins contests. Different changes the world. Sheila, I need to change from what I was. I need to become the person making this, not bread, but art. Avant-garde art. She plunks down the moldy, squishy, cabbagey pieces of bread, cuts a piece and eats it. It's completely unique. And unique
Yes, Judy.
wins.
I think you finally understood what it means to be a champion baker.
Judy, you've changed. I can't sit here and watch this. Sheila turns and flees away.
All right.
She's gone dark, man.
We've gone dark. That brings us to the Act 2, where Judy has embraced Dr. Williams' teachings to make bread that is more art than edible, as she lets go of her old life to become the new baker that Dr. Williams believes she should be.
Yes.
So now we move into our preparation as we approach our baking competition. And Judy more embraces this new life. And to demonstrate this, we will play an improv game called Emotional Switching, where we will start a scene, and then periodically, either one of us can throw out an emotion. We can say the word of an emotion. And then the scene, everything happens in that scene has to take on that emotion. And then we'll switch multiple times until we reach the end of this scene and this act.
Right.
All right. So we pick the action up somewhere afterwards with Dr. Williams and Judy.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Williams, I'm feeling so empowered. I've never felt like this before. I can take all my awful ideas that I've always packed down because I thought they were strange and nobody would take them seriously. Now you're telling me that I can take them seriously. I can be that strange, creative, avant-garde person. Thank you, Dr. Williams.
You can be avant-garde. In fact, it's better to be avant-garde. In fact, none of the bread I've baked in the past 10 years has been edible by any human being. And that's what I want for you, Judy. I don't want you to, who knows what's going to happen in this competition, damn it. But you must make bread like me, and the more avant-garde and the smellier and grosser it is, the happier I will be.
So you continues in nefarious glee. Yes, I can. I can be offensively memorable. What an amazing trait to have. Think about that. People will be talking about myself and my emerald mouse forever because they say, what kind of messed up, strange person could ever conceive of something? This person must be a famous, a legendary baker. I will achieve immortality.
Oh, yes, Judy, you're going to do it, and you're going to clear out that entire competition with your smelly. But then finally, they'll all see. I finally get my revenge on them. It was just many years ago where I entered that competition, and I tried to make a good tasting bread, but it came out with mold. And the only way I managed to win that competition was by swapping my bread with that Dawson family's bread. But I never lived down the shame of that day, and this year we're going to get revenge by clearing that place out with smelly bread.
Scene continues in a pensive fashion. Isn't it so sad that you, the great person, had to resort to a small crime in order to have the rest of the world appreciate what you actually were? You had to actually use the right bread from Roger's family and swap it out with your moldy bread so that you could get the attention of the masses. What a sad world we in.
It does give one pause. Someone as brilliant as me, just because that day I baked a horrible bread, people couldn't understand my genius at baking, so I had to steal someone else's. It's totally unfair. That's not the way this should work. Fear.
But since that happened, that means there's a tie to me. What if they find out? What if I go up there and people realize that I'm your protege and you committed that crime? It could ruin my career. I'd have to leave the city. I have nowhere to go. I can't do this competition. There's too much risk. There's too much potential damage.
I understand, but you can't not do this competition. Why? If you don't do this competition, what becomes of me? I've got a lot riding on this, you know. I have my professional reputation. I have my personal reputation. I have my LinkedIn reputation, damn it. Everything is riding on this. You please tell me you're not considering quitting.
I can't. I don't have the courage to go on like this. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to bow out of the competition, I think.
Rage. Damn you, Judy. You committed. This is because that stupid friend of yours, Sheila, isn't it? She's been driving you. I told you to get rid of everything from your past, not just your spirit animal and not just your good-tasting bread, but everything.
Oh, now I see what it is. I see that you never really cared about me or my skills. You just needed somebody to redeem you, to be able to prove your sick little fantasy that cabbage-soaked urine bread is the bread of the future. You think that's all I am to you, right? Damn
it, it's not just the bread of the future. It's the bread of the past. It's the bread of everything, damn it. Cabbage-soaked urine, that's my brand, damn it. You were supposed to be the one, and you could have had such glory and such beautiful things if you would just embraced my cabbage-soaked urine bread. But oh no, you had to have friends.
That's it. I could never, ever work under someone like you, someone who just takes my urine and corrupts it for evil.
Wistful.
I miss the days of me and Sheila. I miss the days of sitting in my kitchen and making bread that didn't stink like a urinal, making bread that didn't smell like an Irish festival 3 days after the festival was over. I want that life back.
Well, I miss my life too. My life without crying and whining and bread. And, you know, back here when I was just on Emerald number 3, life was so much simpler. Emerald number 3 was my true love. I can't believe I let her go to move on to Emeralds 4 through 14. And you, 15, you'll never be Emerald number 3. I made a mistake coming and taking you on. That's it. You have to win this competition on your own. I'm done here.
I've lost everything. Judy crumbles into the corner and begins sobbing as Dr. Williams walks out.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's a Lonely Man theme.
And
scene.
All right.
Wow, man.
So,
we accomplished some serious character arcs there.
There you go. So now Dr. Williams has abandoned. Judy is giving up. She's lost her mentor. She's lost her old friends, her life, and she's hopelessly unprepared for this competition. And
Yes.
Dr. Williams is gone. So now we are left with act number 4, our final act, where we'll see how this all resolves itself. We will do this playing the improv game Cutting Room, one of our favorite games, one of our favorite ways to end these movies. In this game, we will start out a scene involving whichever characters, and periodically Mike or I can clap our hands and say, cut to. It could be cutting to a different scene, the past, the future, something else going on. It could be something unrelated to the story. It could be something in the production of the movie. It could be very random. And we'll keep cutting back and forth, playing this game until we reach some kind of end and resolution to our movie.
Yes. Oh my God.
All right, Mike, are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready. I've got such a swerve coming in here.
All right. So here we go. Picking it up with Cutting Room at the beginning of Act 4 of Runaway with Flower.
Right. Good. Cut to the immediate end of Act 3 with Judy sobbing. It's ruined. I've lost everything.
Judy, what are you doing? Judy, why are you crying?
Sheila, you came back. Well, I've been such a fool. I've been following this ridiculous idea of avant-garde cabbage-soaked urine bread. That's not what I am. That's not what you and I became friends with.
That's true. And, that's what I came back to tell you. Cut to the real reason Judy actually came back.
Or Sheila, right?
Yeah, cut to Sheila actually came back.
Damn it, where's my credit card?
Come back to the original scene. So yes, I came back here, Judy, to tell you that, look, if you really in your heart wanted to make urine-soaked cabbage bread, that was good, but that's not who you are. You're more than that, right? Dr. Williams, he had what he wanted, but you became something so different when you really bought into what he was training you.
And it wasn't me, but I've learned something. I can still take my fun ideas, my strange ideas, and I can blend them with what you and I back in the kitchen used to do when we baked bread. I can put them both together, and I can win this competition. Cut to one of their failed things back in the kitchen when they were making bread. Sheila, I think this is going to be a really good idea. I'm going to swap out the water with battery acid.
Ooh, I love it. And I've got this fertilizer that I've been needing to dispose of, but I don't want to lug the whole bag downstairs. Maybe can we just dump some of it in there too, and they'll mix it up?
What a great idea. All of a sudden the door opens and Sheila's younger brother Jack comes in. Dippy-dippy-doo. Oh, what's this? Go for it.
Cut to the hospital where the doctor is trying to find out what the hell happened to this kid.
What the hell happened to this kid?
I don't know. I left my daughter at home. She's always been kind of an idiot. She made some kind of bread. I just want her to be an accountant, but
I was able to plug the kid into a wall socket and he lit up a lamp, okay? Whatever that girl put in that bread, it's literally the most caustic poison I've seen in my 13 years as a doctor.
Cut to the morning of the competition where Sheila is going to help Judy to bake the bread. All right, I left the fertilizer at home today. We're not doing that today, right? We're just gonna follow your vision only. So what do you think? What's in your heart for this bread?
I've got the flour, and I've got the seeds, and I've got some special herbs and spices. But my heart, I'm still missing Whiskers, and I'm still missing my squirrels. They always were so helpful to me in the kitchen. Cut to what the animals actually did in the kitchen. Hey, squirrels. Sounds to me like should I put some nuts in this bread?
Yeah. And then let's put more. Let's put more of that loose stuff in. She keeps dropping. This girl is so dirty. We end up with so much food.
Yeah.
She can't keep it in the bowl.
Oh yeah.
In the bowl.
Come back to the competition. If only I had them. The squirrels, they've come. And Whiskers, you're here. Oh, what's that? Look, Whiskers has brought special herbs for my kitchen. Herbs that I didn't know I had any more of. This is what I need. This is what I need to win.
Oh yeah, let's get it all in there. But Whisker, where did these guys come from?
Go, Gord.
You go ahead.
Cut to where these guys came from.
Hey Whiskers.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that it's been a while since Judy dropped any food? I'm getting kind of hungry.
Yeah, man. I'm really annoyed about that, man. Tell you what, why don't we go find her? I got a big nose and you're pretty fast. You know what? I'm really tired of smoking all this weed. Let's see if she wants it or something, because,
Yeah.
I don't like
Besides, man, I feel like the narcs have been on our tails for a while. If they catch us with this, man.
Yeah, man. All right, dude. It's a weed run. Let's do it. Cut back to them putting it into the bread. Oh, this is going to smell so good.
Wait, Judy.
Dr. Williams, what is it?
Yes, I came to apologize. You're right. I made this about me instead of about you. But listen, if you're going to put an ounce of weed into a bread, you must cut it with marjoram.
I never thought of that. You're right. The marjoram will take away the bitterness and make it even more addictive for all the people who are having it. What a great idea. You're so
Yes,
wise.
I'm sorry, Judy. In 14 emeralds I've worked with, even number 3 who I love, none have spoken to me the way you have, and you really made me think. And that's why I came back, was to finally help you. Cut to the real reason he came back.
It was my credit card, man.
Oh, damn it. I left my credit card somewhere.
Cut to Roger watching this all happen. Jesus, Dave. I don't know what's going on over there, but she's moving a lot better than she was. She's standing up so tall. She's looking actually kind of pretty. And that bread, I'm starting to smell it. It's really addictive, man. I'm really liking it. I'm kind of scared. I don't think we're gonna win.
I don't know, man. Maybe not. But you know what? You're right. She is looking pretty good, and she kind of thinks you're a douchebag, but she doesn't know much about me. So I think I'm gonna. Sorry, man. I'm gonna go join the winning team, Team Judy over there. Peace out, yo.
Oh, betrayed and completely left for abandoned. Oh, it's the worst.
Cut to how Judy reacts when Dave shows up to join her team.
And then add a little bit of marjoram.
Hey, Judy. I don't know if we haven't talked much. I'm Dave. I was Roger's friend, but there's something about you. You just look so normal, natural, and different. And I was wondering, you need another pair of hands. I can help you on this side.
Oh, Well, yeah, the more the better. That'd be fantastic. Here, you can go actually clean these mice and these squirrels because they've been running in raw sewage.
Stomp.
Oh my God!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cut to the funeral 4 days later with the little tiny coffins. Whiskers never had a chance and felt no pain. That was how he lived his life, giving no pain to others.
Hey, Judy. Sorry, remember me? I'm Dave. I know we haven't talked since I actually stepped on your mice, but hey, listen. I was wondering, do you want to go out sometime?
I could use a shoulder to cry on now that Whiskers will never be on my shoulder.
Oh yeah, it's sorry about that, but it was just a mouse, right? Like, come on, man.
Cut back to the baking scene. We've got to finish this bread for all of our fallen woodland friends. She pulls.
All right, listen to me, Judy.
Yes.
Do you remember the very first thing I said to you? I asked you.
The difference.
Do you know the difference between all-purpose flour
and white flour and
bread flour?
And bread flour. Yes, I remember that.
Yes, and you remember your answer?
No.
Was that you didn't know?
Right.
Your answer was you didn't know.
Right. I didn't know.
That is the key to winning this competition. You've got the weed. You've got the marjoram. You've got a slight hint of mouse intestine guts. The last thing you need is a mix. No one does this. A mix of all-purpose and bread flour.
Yes.
That is who you are. You are a mix of all-purpose and bread flour.
Yes.
Put it into the bread.
Yes, Dr. Williams. I will do that right now. Cut to the judges with Judy's new secret bread, Roger's bread, in a head-to-head taste-off.
All right, well, first we're going to try Judy Snell's bread. Let's see here. Well, it's got a nice crust.
It's got a nice little bit of zing to it. Mm.
All right, let's take a bite of this.
Oh, this is really good.
Well, that's good. I feel like I need a little more.
Yeah, I think so. A little more. Judy, you're hogging it now. You can give it to me. Give some of that to me.
You give me that. This is yummy. It's got a texture and it's got some kind of squishy, hearty, protein-style texture. I don't know what that is, but it's yummy.
Little bit like a beet kind of thing, right?
Before they try Roger's bread, cut to Roger what Roger did in his kitchen as a last-ditch effort to make his bread better than Judy's.
Oh, man.
Or I gotta do something. Wait a minute. She did something with cabbage and pea. Maybe that's her secret. Maybe that somehow makes it taste delicious. Let me try pea. Let me try pea and get cabbage. Dave, come back over here.
Oh, what do you want, man? I'm trying to get a date with this girl. What do you need?
Listen, I got some cabbage, but I got no pea. I need you to pee on my cabbage.
All right, man, but, I've been doing a lot of human growth hormones, so I don't know how it's going to function in the bread, but all right.
Back to the judge tasting.
Oh, that bread was so good.
That was good.
I almost don't have any.
All right, now we're going to try Mr. Roger Dawson's bread.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay.
Why this smells like a Subway stall.
Oh, yeah, it's really kind of squishy and slippery, and
that looks like a big bag of vomit.
I'll try a bite of this. Oh, there's some sort of chemical in here. It's messing with my estrogen.
Well, let me try that. Oh my goodness, I know this. Well, I'm going to test positive for PEDs. They're going to let me judge it. They're not going to judge me at Astros if I'm on substance.
Oh, I think I'm losing all sense of.
My God, this is even worse than that battery acid fertilizer bread we had a few years ago. This is worse than that moldy bread we had.
Oh, I don't feel good right now. I feel like watching John Wayne films.
Cut to the doctor with this woman at the hospital wondering what the hell happened to her.
All I can see is, based upon your brain chemistry, all you want to do right now is watch Die Hard and hit wooden trees with large axes. This is a complete rewrite of your brain chemistry. What happened to you?
Oh, I just had some bread.
Cut back to the award ceremony where Judy, having come into her own, is now awarded the prize.
All right, well, now that we've taken care of that ugly nastiness with Greta being taken to the hospital, I think we can all safely say the unanimous victor of the bread making competition is one Miss Judy Snell.
It's been a long time coming, but I couldn't have done this without the support of my friend Sheila and also Dr. Williams. This award.
Oh, you did this all yourself. You did it so good. And by the way, Judy, you haven't by any chance seen my credit card, have you?
Scene.
And so that is our movie, Running Away with Flower, a Pygmalion-style story in the style of My Fair Lady or Princess Diaries. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you had as much fun listening to that
as we did
performing it. If you did, a couple things you can do that would really help us out. Number one, if you could leave us a review on iTunes on our podcast page or a 5-star rating. If you could share this via your social media channels, the more people that learn about this, the more we grow, the better it is for everyone. And finally, if you want more info about us, go to avishaandmike.com. And on that page is a link to a submission form where you can submit suggestions for a movie or genre or some of the improv suggestions we are going to use. Mike, thank you very much. Final thoughts or words from you?
Avish, that was a ton of fun. Thank you. No, I had a lot of fun. I was a little nervous. I don't know that genre quite as well as others, but I thought some really good stuff came out. It was
a lot of fun. And you know what? That's one of the few action thriller horror genres we've done. And I think that was a lot of fun.
I dug it. I had a lot of fun. So listen, Avish, we'll see each other next week for our next week. And as Avish said, please join the group, submit your suggestions. Let's give us, the more the offers, the better for this.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.